They waited for the moment. That single moment when the pressure would finally crush you, when the weight of their words, their betrayal, their laughter behind your back would break something inside you. They were watching, studying, waiting, because in their minds, the story was already written. They believed they knew how this would end. They thought the insults would ignite your anger. They thought the betrayal would make you scream. They thought the humiliation would make you collapse in front of them. They were ready for your explosion, but something strange happened. You didn't react, and that terrified them more than any scream ever could at first. They thought it was weakness. Silence often looks like surrender to those who only understand noise. They whispered among themselves. Look at them. They're quiet now. Finally. Broken. They can't fight back anymore. They mistook your calm for defeat. They mistook your patience for powerlessness. But what they didn't realize, what they couldn't see, was that inside you, something ancient was awakening. Because when you didn't react, you weren't losing control. You were gaining it. You were watching, listening, learning. Every insult became a lesson. Every betrayal became a blueprint. While they wasted energy trying to provoke you, you were building something they could never imagine. A mind sharper than their cruelty. A will stronger than their chaos. And slowly, quietly, you began to change. They expected fire. They expected rage. They expected you to burn everything down in anger. But instead, you became the storm that doesn't need thunder to be powerful. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped defending yourself. You simply kept moving forward, step by step, day by day. And every step they couldn't stop, every step they couldn't control, made them more uncomfortable. Because the truth is, people who try to destroy you don't just want to see you fail. They want to see you react. They want your anger, your tears, your desperation. Why? Because your reaction proves they still have power over you. But when you didn't react, you took that power back. And suddenly, the silence became louder than their voices. Think about it. Every insult they threw at you, every trap they set, every rumor they spread, was meant to pull you down into their chaos, but you didn't. Jump. You stood there like a mountain. Unmoved. Unshaken. Unslowly. The game began to change because people who manipulate others rely on one thing above all else: control. But control disappears the moment you stop playing their game, and that's exactly what you did. You walked away from the battlefield they created, not because you were weak, but because you were becoming something far more dangerous. Someone who could not be controlled at first. They laughed. They thought your silence meant you were afraid. They thought your calm meant you were fragile. But time has a way of exposing truth. Days passed. Weeks passed. Months passed, and something began to disturb them. You didn't crumble. You didn't disappear. You didn't fall apart the way they predicted. Instead, you grew. Quietly. Relentlessly. Like a sayed breaking through stone. They watched as you rebuilt yourself piece by piece, your confidence returning, your focus sharpening, your energy shifting. And suddenly, the person they thought they destroyed was no longer the same person standing before them. You were stronger, colder, more aware. And that terrified them, because people who depend on chaos fear one thing above all else: composure. Think about it. Chaos feeds on reaction. Drama survives on emotion, but calm suffocates it. And you became calm. The fragile calm of someone hiding pain, but the powerful calm of someone who has faced the storm and learned how to walk through it. You stopped seeking validation. You stopped trying to prove yourself. You stopped explaining your worth to people who were determined not to see it. Instead, you focused on becoming undeniable. And when you become undeniable, everything changes suddenly. The same people who mocked you began watching you more closely. Their laughter faded. Their confidence weakened. Because the person they tried to provoke, the person they tried to break, was no longer reacting. You became unpredictable. Untouchable, and that confused them. They whispered again. But this time the whispers were different. Why aren't they reacting anymore? Why do they seem stronger? Why does it look like none of this affects them? And the answer was simple. Because you understood something they never did. Your peace is more powerful than their noise, you see. Reacting is easy. Anyone can explode. Anyone can shout. Anyone can fight in the heat of the moment. But mastery is different. Mastery is standing in the middle of chaos and remaining calm. Mastery is hearing insults and choosing silence. Mastery is watching betrayal unfold and responding with growth instead of revenge, and that's what you did. While they were busy trying to drag you into darkness, you were learning how to become light. But here's the part they never expected. Your silence wasn't just protection, it was transformation. Because when you stopped reacting to their negativity, you started redirecting your energy towards something greater. Your goals, your discipline, your vision. You stopped fighting small battles and started building a bigger life. A life so focused, so purposeful, that their opinions became irrelevant. Their insults became background noise. Their attempts to provoke you became meaningless, and suddenly, the battlefield they created no longer existed, because you had already moved beyond it. And that's when the real shock hit them. The moment they realized they couldn't reach you anymore. They tried new tactics, new insults, new attempts to trigger you, but nothing worked, because you had already mastered the one skill they never developed: emotional control. While they were still reacting to everything around them, you had learned how to choose your response. And that difference, that single difference, created a power shift they couldn't handle. Look at them now, restless, uneasy, watching you from a distance, because the person they thought they understood, the person they believed they could manipulate, has become something else entirely. Someone disciplined, someone focused, someone calm under pressure. And calm people are the most dangerous people in the world. Why? Because they cannot be provoked. It cannot be distracted, it cannot be controlled, you see. When you didn't react, you broke the cycle. This cycle of emotional traps, this cycle of drama and manipulation, the cycle that keeps people stuck in endless conflict. Instead of feeding the fire, you became water, and water does something incredible. It doesn't fight the rock, it doesn't scream at the mountain, it simply flows, patiently, relentlessly, until even the hardest stone begins to change shape. And over time, your calm began reshaping the world around you. Your focus sharpened, your confidence deepened, your presence became heavier, stronger, more grounded. People began to notice, not because you demanded attention, but because quiet strength is impossible to ignore. And the same people who once tried to provoke you started feeling something unfamiliar: respect. Not the shallow respect given to loud voices, but the deep respect earned by someone who has mastered themselves. Because the truth is, the strongest people in the world are not the loudest, they are the calmest. They are the ones who can walk through insult without losing their dignity, the ones who can face betrayal without losing their purpose, the ones who can endure storms without becoming the storm. And that's who you became. A person who no longer reacts, but responds with intention. And here's a final twist in the story they never saw coming. Your silence didn't just protect you, it elevated you. Because while they stayed trapped in the same patterns, the same jealousy, the same negativity, you evolved. You outgrew the battlefield, you outgrew the conflict, you outgrew them. And one day, without anger, without revenge, without even looking back, you simply walked past everything they tried to use against you. Stronger, wiser, free. Now, think about that for a moment. They tried to provoke you, they tried to break you, they tried to control your emotions, but instead of reacting, you transformed. And that transformation did something extraordinary. It revealed a truth most people never learn. Your power has never been in your reaction. Your power has always been in your control. So the next time they try again, the next time someone throws chaos into your life, remember this moment. Remember who you became. You are not the person who reacts anymore. You are the person who observes, the person who chooses, the person who moves with purpose instead of impulse. And that kind of person is unstoppable, because the world expects reactions. It expects anger. It expects emotional explosions. But when you refuse to play that role, when you respond with calm, clarity, and discipline, you step into a different level of power, a quiet power, a steady power, a power that doesn't need to prove itself. And that's why they fear your silence now, because they finally understand something they ignored at the beginning. You didn't react, not because you were weak, not because you were afraid, but because you were evolving, becoming stronger, becoming wiser, becoming someone they could never control again. So keep moving forward. Keep building your life in silence. Keep growing beyond their expectations. Let them wander, let them whisper, let them watch, because the greatest victory you will ever achieve is mastering yourself. And once you do that, number of insult can shake you, no betrayal can destroy you, no enemy can control you. You didn't react, and in doing so, you won.